Guys, hello, and welcome back to the Pretty Little Podcast. We are your hosts.
My name is Phoebe.
And my name is Caroline. And today we are recapping Season 7, Episode 5 of Pretty Little Liars called...
Along Comes Mary.
Along Comes Mary. Yeah, and I was like, okay, this episode should have been more about Mary if it's going to be called Along Comes Mary.
Well, along she came in the first scene.
Yeah, and then it was just like, okay, we got bigger fish to fry. I would say that was not like the biggest moment of this episode.
Of Shower, and we're still
doing
return
this
of
with
Shower,
or our final scene.
Right, but we're still doing this with the hair shower, and we're still doing the biker gloves. We haven't found better remedies for these things.
I think she's a tough girl. I think she's really trying to send a message.
Oh, right, I forgot.
That she's a tough girl, and
she's
maybe
a total tough girl.
We don't really see her like, you know, her traveling, her in motion, but we don't know that she's not riding a motorcycle. Maybe she's really made this part of like her whole identity.
I guess that's true. That's a really good point.
You know, it's like you decide.
And I
who
won't
you're
speak
gonna, like,
on
you
something
decide
I don't
your fate.
understand anymore.
And I think it's smart. I think it's wise for sure. I wish you would actually apply that to like every aspect of your life. Just kidding. Guys, we're recapping this today. I'm having a little bit of a crash out weekend for Caroline. Just so everyone's aware. For Caroline. Crash out weekend for Caroline. Okay. It's a 3-day weekend, so it should be like I should be walking on air. But I've also been doing a lot. Okay. And I want to spill tea on the Patreon episodes. I'm just saying that. Like, I'm doing that. So if you want to hear the tea that I spilled, go listen to the Punch Bowl episode for this month, for May. Because I'm spilling tea. I'm spilling tea. Okay, so anyway, I'm on the recap, though, and I'll have you know, I didn't write down a goddamn thing. But I did watch the episode, so I kind of know what to say. I kind of know what to say. Okay, so I'm just going to go down, talk about the girls. Aria, we all know she wrote that freaking book with Ezra about Ezra's ex, Nicole, who was, like, abducted by missionaries or something. I don't know. It's not good for her. That's all we know. She's out of the pic, and Aria is right back in. Okay, I'm not saying Aria is celebrating that, but okay. So that's really it. That's really it for her. And she has been like, I'm not going to be a good friend. I'm not going to be a good friend. Gun to my head, I will not be a good friend. Until this past episode where she's like, hello, why is nobody being a good friend like me? And that continues in this episode too. Like, and it's very funny. So she is feeling the need to dive back into her relationship with Allie. Emily is seeing a new hottie named Sabrina, but she's not really new to us. We saw her and she had that super mega awkward interaction with Aria and the brew when they needed Ezra's keys to his life. It's that girl, the weed brownie girl. Come on. Anyway, she and Emily are like,
Caroline is acting like she's in front of a live audience and everybody's like, Sabrina. Whatever you're describing her as is not getting us there.
She gets it. She's got it. Moving on. All right. Emily's also taking classes at Hollis. Good to know. She's kind of like living in Lucas's loft with Hannah. Let's talk about Hannah. Broke off her engagement with JoJo. Jordan. Broke off her engagement with JoJo.
You know Drunk History?
Yeah.
For one of our live shows that we do inevitably in the future, we do Drunk History, but it's just the plot of Pretty Little Liars.
This is a whole bit that we do, and it's like every live show, one of us has to get like wasted, and one of us is sober, and one of us has to do thing. And there's a timer. God. And we're like trying to get it under 30 seconds. Well, we've got a long tour, and we're selling out Madison Square Garden 2 times. And going to the next game with our dad. And so anyway, just like Giggly Squad did. But the thing about that is we're going to have a lot of time to practice whittling it down to 30 seconds. And we'll get there. We'll get there for our Seth Meyers spot. But before then, probably looking at 15, 20 minutes. Anyway, back to me. Hannah broke it off with JoJo, and now she's like, Caleb, what? And they kind of kiss, but it was just like a moment of confusion because Spaleb is happening, obviously. Hannah also got like abducted, blah, blah, blah. Spencer, as I said, is full of betrayal. She's a bad friend. She is a boyfriend stealer. She's with Caleb, but she's kind of crashing out because Caleb and Hannah shared that moment. And so Caleb's trying to convince her that, like, even though I'm not in love with you, Spence, I like you enough to keep doing this and to keep doing you. So just say okay. Allison's in Welby, and her husband turned out not to be who she thought he was, and not to be who Arya thought he was either. If you'll remember, Arya did marry them, so this is weighing heavy. But he's been like tying her up like Silence of the Lambs style. Never seen the movie, but you know, kind of looks that way. And she's been in Welby, and it's just been bad news bears. I didn't even mention that they did break her out and they killed him. So they killed Allison's husband, hit him with a car, and then they were like burying the body, and they had this whole plan. But unfortunately, Spencer had this like drunken tryst in the elevator at the Radley with this guy who's gonna come back, of course, because everything always comes back in Rosewood. And I just feel like that's, and Jenna kind of was like click-clacking around last episode too. I feel like that's good. I feel like I covered it.
I mean, I think you nailed it.
I feel like if you guys don't know what I missed, then it must not have been important, you know?
So we start in front of the De Laurentiis dungeon, and Arya's on the phone with Emily. She's a casserole for Allie. And she is like, when Allie does eventually arrive to the house, she goes, yeah, sorry we couldn't get you out of there. I'm like,
yeah.
How long?
And I was like, wait, did you try?
How long did Allie have to sit in that bed cuffed and with the muzzle on before someone walked in there and was like, wait, Rollins is in here?
No, literally. Because last I heard, you guys were like, promise we're going to try. And now it's like, hey, sorry, we couldn't. It's like, how long? What's the timeline? We literally see it on the recap.
Allie looks at Arya and says, promise me you will come back for me.
And so it's like, girl, of course. I'm actually offended you would even ask. You know I'm going to be doing that.
The first one to greet her with the casserole is giving consolation. Like, girl, sorry. I just got really wrapped up with Z. The book is just getting crazy. And but you got out. And how's that? And then Mary comes out of the car.
But it's also, I just need to like go back to before they even get there. Arya on the phone calling Emily like, are you seriously not coming here to greet her getting out of the hospital? Oh, I just thought you'd, I really thought you'd want to be here. Like, it's just, yeah, she's like, okay, I mean, I guess it's just me. Shocker. I'm the only one who thinks things like this are important. Like, it's just like, Arya, you have been MIA when it comes to like showing up for your friends until the last episode, and now you're like, God, a woman of one, welcome party of one. Like, she's just, I don't know. So anyway, yeah, Allison gets home with Mary Drake. Mary Drake drove her home. Allie is wearing a cat eye sweatshirt.
Yeah.
Which is one of her worst fashion choices. Do you think this was a piece that they had at Welby and it was like in the lot, like, you know, when you get your period at school and you need to change your clothes or something, and they're like, and I'm like, I'm going home, but thanks, but they do have clothes there. Yeah. It's like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. I have very specific proportions. Okay, so I'm not doing whatever that is. But Allie did.
Maybe, but I do think that if they had that in Welby, I'm sure that it would. I mean, that sweater's enough to make someone go crazy.
Well, that's for dang sure. So Mary Drake is going to be staying with Allison in the De Laurentiis dungeon, which, talk about a dungeon, am I right? That paired with the doors, which really I like never really realized, but those really are dungeon doors.
And Mary Drake is really giving like the Punisher, like the person who brings people to the gallows from the dungeon. Like that's the vibe.
You're right. And it's very
the way she
talks.
Creepy. She's very like glib.
Okay, look. Jess might have been really tall, but Mary Drake seems like a full-on giant. She seems like she should be going to the Yule Ball with Hagrid and Harry Potter. Like, that's how tall she feels to me. Okay? It just
what a crazy reference.
But you know exactly what I'm saying.
Well, yes. Tall.
Well, yes.
And
that's
like the woman,
I feel like she is.
The woman who goes with Hagrid.
Yes, from the Beauxbaton or whatever.
Yeah.
From Fleur's school. You know, that one. Anyway, yeah, she seems very tall to me. But so the deal is, Welby's really concerned that Allie's going to sue, and for good reason. So they're doing an internal investigation, and then Mary Drake has to stay with Allie until a social worker can review the case. And Arya does have a hilarious line here. She looks at Allie and she goes, she was helping him in zombie makeup. And I'm like, that's a good point. That's a little different. It's like, I fully like went to Spirit Halloween, got a face palette, went in the bathroom and applied it. Like, it's not just like, was like.
So when Mary later on is trying to be like, I got out of there when things got too intense. I'm like,
it's like
things
not
were
really
intense when you
it's
were
like, hey, so what was that? Hey, so what was that?
You started getting out of there once you got your money.
Yeah, let's be for real. And we're going to find out more about that.
If your money had been contingent on Elliot punishing and killing Allie, then you would have been all for it.
Right, then Allie would be a dead woman.
You have this great out. You have this great out of saying, I was in it, like the money happened at a convenient time for you, Mary.
Good point. So then
By
Allie
the way-
asks about Jenna.
Well, Arya asks before Mary goes away if Jason got Allie out, and I just think it's Arya's like, I just am really hoping that my former fling doesn't get out of the car. Right now
I'm like still ready to learn about this.
That's why Arya's in that whole
That
that's why
outfit?
Arya's in that outfit.
Oh my god, she's like, I just got
She
my hair
thought she
done,
was
brand
gonna
new
see
outfit.
Jason. Jason comes back
100%.
next episode. I saw in the still.
Oh,
for
okay,
next-
cool.
Next week. But so Allie's like, I'm just gonna keep an eye on her. Like, this isn't so bad. No news on Jenna and everything that's going on there. And then Arya says, all right, well, my work here is done.
Arya's like, well, see ya. And so that's that.
We go
So then
inside the dungeon, and Mary Drake is telling Allie her side of things and like how she and Elliot got involved and how they connected over their grief of Charlotte. So Mary Drake she lost her she lost her daughter as soon as she knew she existed.
Yeah. How sad. So true. So true. So the sour kangaroo. What I think is funny about this is that Allie, Mary Jake's like, can I have a glass of water? And Allie's like, okay. And pours her one and then is like, actually, and puts it behind her back. She's like, so start talking. She's like, are you parched? Start talking. How bad do you want the water? And then it's like, once Allie gets a piece of information she deems worthy, she's like, okay, here you go.
And she fully walks off. And then Mary Drake
Yes.
keeps going. And she is like, well, Allie says, how could you help someone make me crazy? And she says, and by the way, guys, no matter how bad a person is, that's not an excuse to do what was done to Allie, because Mary Drake goes, my sister was made me believe you two were cut from the same cloth.
Like, okay, well, by the way,
I don't
Mary,
care.
Allie, as far as you're concerned, Allie's a kid. Like, I know she's an adult, but like, to you, she's like a kid. You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of unthinkable.
She's not your sister. She's not your evil
No.
twin sister.
Exactly.
She already got what was coming to her.
Right. And Mary Drake says to Allie, like, I wanted justice for Charlotte. He wanted vengeance. And I hope that my telling you the truth will earn your forgiveness. And it's like, actually, no, sorry, but the truth is super dark, twisted, horrible to hear, and was horrible to experience. So no, like, I think
I
it's
don't
gonna
feel obligated
take a
to
little
give
more
you my
time before I
forgiveness.
forgive you. And then Allie goes away.
Well, Mary asks if they know anything else about Dr. Rollins, and Allie's like, we just know that he had a fake name and that he wasn't a doctor. And then Mary goes, I think I need to go take a nap. Where's the guest room? The way, like, when Mary was outside with Arya, she was acting like she's about to walk in and, like, own this house.
Into her own home.
And now she's talking and she's like, I think I'll go for a rest now. The
Well,
way
it's
she
like
talks is
also-
so weird.
We know she's been in this house. And so,
In zombie
okay.
makeup.
You asking where the guest bedroom is, like, bitch, you know where the fucking guest bedroom is. Like, it's just, but she's acting comfortable here too. And Allie's like, it's an old mattress. I hope you don't find it too uncomfy. And Mary Drake says, I've slept on worse. And then Allie goes back to the counter, like, pulls her sleeves up, and you see where she's been, like, tied down and whatever. And she's just remembering.
We go to Lucas's loft, and I just want to say, I thank God every day chokers went out of style. I never liked them, and I always thought they looked weird, and I just was not ever a fan of them. And
I love
especially
them.
like the one that Emily's wearing currently, the one that Emily's sleeping in. How did you not actually have like a panic attack in your sleep with that thing? around your
Emily's
neck?
sleeping with the choker and fake eyelashes is crazy. I'm like, Emily, who are you? Emily, you've
This
lost
isn't
who you
you.
really are. Although I do think this is when they all had like eyelash extensions. Like, I don't think it's.
Yeah, it was very in.
Which is so funny to see on TV.
But Sabrina stayed the night, is there, and wakes Emily up. They've been dating for, like, this is giving domesticated
Yes.
relationship already. Not like we just had our first
Sure is.
date and night together. And Emily wakes up and is like, whatever. And then they talk about.
Okay. Sabrina says, I talked until you fell asleep, and I guess I lost my chance at a good night kiss. And she's like, just so you know, the only reason that I talk like that, like I talk so fast, is when I'm nervous and I'm just waiting for someone to make the first move. And so Emily is like, okay, stop begging. And so Emily kisses her, and that's when Emily's phone rings, and she finds out that the test she's supposed to be taking at Hollis started 10 minutes ago. So she runs out of here.
The alarm should have been set before the date started.
Yeah.
The alarm on your phone should have been set before the date. And also,
You should have,
that you probably should have thrown your cellular device in the water before this date with Sabrina because you know that's her biggest dick.
Well, and her having a phone.
Yeah, any technology. You know, as soon as that phone rang,
she's off the
and
grid.
she goes,
yeah, Sabrina was yanked from the moment.
She goes, anything important? And Emily goes, no, but keeps looking at her phone, and you know Sabrina was just like, this isn't gonna work.
But it was important because I'm sorry, Emily, you knew you had a test this morning. You should have said to Sabrina last night, I have a test in the morning, so like it can't be a late night, or like I'm gonna set this alarm, like whatever. Like
this is all
that's just
Emily.
irresponsible on your part, but also I need to just street smarts moment. If I'm this girl, if I'm one of these girls, I am not leaving somebody in the place that I sleep that I know you trust Sabrina.
This is
and
like
to be frank,
HQ
I don't
right now.
I don't feel like I have a bad feeling towards her really, but it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if it's my actual partner. Like, I'm not leaving him in there because trust no one, you know?
Emily
like,
says she literally is like getting all of her stuff together, doesn't brush her teeth, doesn't wash her face, she doesn't have to get dressed. She's already dressed. And she's like, finish your coffee, make yourself at home, keys in the bowl, lock up when you leave.
Lock up before you leave. So it's like, so Sabrina's going to have a key then.
Is crazy. Well, you know Emily doesn't really think the keys are all that important.
Well, that's true, but it is just crazy. Like, okay. So we go to Aria at Ezra's loft. She's reading the paper, and there's a whole page on Rollins and how this local doctor is feared missing. And Ezra walks in the door and says the most annoying thing he could say. He goes, are you in the middle of a thought, or can I give you a proper hello?
Well,
and she gives him this.
What's even more annoying is what Aria goes,
okay. Yeah, she beckons him over, and he gives her a kiss. But it's just so funny. It's like you walk in and see someone typing. Are you? I don't want to interrupt you from this thought. I bet it's gold. I bet this is writing gold. You know, like there's just no way.
Okay, so while he was away, he was like working on the book and Liam's notes, and then he went to go see Nicole's parents in New York City, the Big Apple, if you will. And he was like, I had to tell them about us, and I'm like,
why?
Did you? Did you?
Aria's
have
like,
to?
I love that. Aria's like, you know what? I agree. You did need to tell them that. I wish I could have gone with you, but yeah, no, you definitely did need to tell them that. It is kind of weird, but now I'm like, I guess knowing what I know now, it maybe
Ezra
it makes
says,
sense. I don't know.
He says very pointedly, he says, it felt wrong keeping a secret from you. And then he immediately says, catch me up. What have I missed since I've been gone? And she says,
not much. Not really anything. She just immediately snaps back into lying mode. God, it's like a second skin for her.
Then we go to Rosewood High School, and it's giving that episode of Drake and Josh. You know that episode?
The scary one?
The
janitor, the Halloween one?
No, the devastating episode of Drake and Josh where Drake and Josh have this really important
that's
chem
Boy
lab.
Meets World. Sorry.
But that is, I know what episode of that you're talking about.
Yeah, of course you do.
Episode. And it used to, like, Boy Meets World always would play, like, in the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night. It was Nick at Night. And I was like, this is a big kid show.
And when that episode would play, when we would, like, sleep in the basement, leave the TV on all night, and then
during October, and you're watching, they're playing, like, a movie on Nickelodeon at 8 p.m., 8/7 Central, and we're watching it in the basement, and we made a big old bed, and we're falling asleep. Yeah. Yeah,
but no,
I needed to make sure it was turned to Disney Channel before we fell asleep. Because there were no scary commercials on Disney Channel. And I also did that during college.
God forbid they played the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody Halloween episode.
I mean, it was just like, what are we doing trying to torture children in the middle of the night?
Exactly. But anyway, the Drake and Josh episode where they have that really important chem lab, and Josh is like really mad at Drake for some reason, and Drake like oversleeps or like something bad happens in the morning and he's late to the test, and he knows that it's gonna be like this really big deal that he's late, and Josh is in the class and didn't like wake Drake up or something.
Evil.
And the teacher is like, you can't come in, Drake, like he's locked out of the room, and he like pulls the blind in, and then something ends up happening where Drake like gets a bunch of chemicals poured on him, and he has to go into the like the shower in the chem lab. And they like so now he's soaking wet and crying and like lamenting to Josh in front of the whole class, like apologizing to him for all this stuff. But Josh is actually the one who's kind of in the wrong the whole time because Josh is being the asshole. Anyway.
Wow. Did you guys hear that? I don't remember that episode, but I'm going to have to go back and watch now Now I'm absolutely gobsmacked by this terrible sibling behavior.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
so
anyway, that's what's
Emily-
happening to Emily, because Emily is running through the halls and she basically body checks the door. I was like, we couldn't have composed ourselves just a tad before we turned to the corner.
And the proctor comes up to the door and Emily's like, hi, I know that I'm super late. And there's a big ass sign on the door. It's like, shut the fuck up, be quiet, testing
It's giving
in progress.
Serena Vanderwoodson Loki.
Ugh, yeah. And the proctor pulls those blinds right down. Emily is not going to get to take this test. So we go to the brew. Hannah is there, and there are a ton of popo in the vicinity calling for backup. They're using numbers like 1124 and some other code.
They're using numbers like 1124.
Yeah, you know. And Spencer walks in and tells Hannah that an 1124 is an abandoned vehicle and the other code is a missing person. So, yes, they are like, they did find his vehicle, but the good news is they think he's alive and on the run. So, like, I think the idea that is what they wanted the police to think.
Spencer
so
says
for
the
Spencer,
cops,
she's like, this is good.
The cops are playing it like he's missing, and the article says that the article that was in the paper that we saw Aria reading says that the police are withholding information. So Spencer thinks that means the police must believe he's alive. So everything is playing out according to their plan as of right now.
But things are very weird between Hannah and Spencer. And like
so
Hannah's
weird.
working on her business plan. Lucas needs it for tomorrow. And it's just like weird vibes. But Aria texts and lets Hannah know that Mona found something on the burner phone. And there is like another location besides the car where he used that burner phone a lot. They can't trace it really quickly, but they did recover his deleted texts. And they found a text saying Allie didn't kill Charlotte. So like Rollins knew that. And so what this means is that allegedly he wasn't taking Allie out of Welby to take her somewhere to kill her. We don't know who he was sending this to. We don't know where he was taking her. Aria thinks it's Jenna, but they're just also confused about like how the fuck Elliot knew Allie didn't do it because they had just found that out.
Right. And so Allie arrives and Emily is like, sorry I didn't answer you last night. And they like have this weird moment where Emily tells Allie about the date and Allie acts weird about it. And I'm like, you were fully just married.
Allie's like fully
married.
annoyed. Allie's kind of snapped back to reality in this episode. She's like back to her bitchy self. I'm like, thank God.
And Aria is giving like Marvel supervillain the way that she's standing over in this like bay window area of Lucas's loft, and she has her hands on her hips or her arms crossed with her hip cocked to the side.
And her outfit, well, she's got one of those blazers that's like also a cape, and she's not wearing it the whole time, but every time she's outside she is. So like she very much is giving supervillain.
And she got this address from Mona, and they're like, okay, he had a burner phone, maybe he had a burner apartment, and because it's not the apartment. Allie says that's not where he was staying when they were together. And every chance she gets, she goes, it was all a lie. Like every chance she gets to like reflect on how much Elliot, and I guess I would too, but it is funny how like
I was gonna say, I like how you're giving her no leeway here. You're like,
pulls
oh my
her out
God,
of-
we get it.
It pulls her out of every conversation though. She'll be like, and another lie. And yet another lie.
Well, and I love this moment where Emily's like, so we don't think that Rollins was trying to kill you that night. And Ellie goes, that doesn't make him any less of an ass. And it's like, and we didn't say that it did. Like, we're just,
but just thought you might want to know. Like you weren't on the way to your certain
Jesus
death at
Christ.
the time.
Aria's guess is that the text saying Allie didn't kill Charlotte was going to Jenna. Emily guesses it went to Mary. And Allie's like, well, I don't think it went to Mary because she told me she bailed when things got scary. And I totally believe her. And so they decide they're going to go to this address.
Emily has decided they're going to go to this address. And Aria says, I think that's a bad idea. So does Allie. But Emily these days always seems to get what she wants in terms of her plan.
Yeah. She's gonna get what she wants. So Allie's going to the ATM, crash out number 1 for Allison De Laurentiis of this episode. She gets denied multiple times at the ATM for insufficient funds. Her account has been frozen.
The way they edit this is funny because the first time it happens, I mean, I understand thinking it's a glitch and like trying again. But the first time she does it and it says insufficient funds, we're at one angle. And then the second time she goes to do it, we get an original sin angle where we're like, we are the ATM looking down on her.
Yeah, we're above her.
And when she reads it for the second time, it's truly like she can't believe it.
Yeah. And we get that a few times when she has these moments. We get like these like blurry camera angles or whatever to show that she is freaking the frick out. So Arya comes back to Ezra's apartment. There's a note that says, errands, hope this helps you get some work done. And there's an arrow pointing to coffee.
At first, I thought it was from A, because that's kind of A handwriting. It wasn't. And also, it's in a pencil mug. So Ezra was like, I got to get her writing and fast.
Yeah, true.
A little pencil mug.
Yeah, so she pours some coffee and a phone rings, but it's not her phone. It's his phone.
That's so
and
Ezra.
it is weird that he doesn't have it, but you're right. It's so
that
Ezra.
Is so Ezra to be like, I was just out. I'm not attached to my phone, so I don't really think about it all the time. And then I honestly didn't even realize I left it here.
I really only use it for phone calls, and when I'm running errands, I don't need to call anybody. Why would I need to call anybody? So his phone is ringing, and it's Nicole. Nicole shows up in the caller ID, which is obviously
I thought you were about to go
shocking.
It's Nicole Scherzinger.
And why would you think that?
Because you started.
And why on God's green earth would you think that?
You started to say SH, and I was like, wait, is this going to be a Freudian slip? Like, she just thinks Nicole's last name is Scherzinger.
And the thing about Scherzinger is it does just roll off the tongue. That's what everybody says about the name Scherzinger. So the phone rings, and Nicole pops up on the caller ID, and Arya answers, and we just hear, like, cars playing music driving by, like noise. It sounds like they're on like a street market or something, but no one says anything. And Arya cannot figure out what to do about this. So she calls Emily, and she's like, what's the move here? Ghost calling Ezra's phone. And Emily's like, okay, well, similar thing happened to my mom. Ghost called my mom's phone. Ghost of my dad.
I thought she was going to bring up Maya, and I was going to be like, that would have been a real ghost situation.
Yeah, no, that would have been actually real. But she was like, it was just like something just happened, and it wasn't a big deal when it happened to her mom, but she was like, it fucked her up a little bit. So I would recommend you just delete the call. Which I'm like, that's just like never the answer, probably.
No. Because now it's a lie. Because now
you like went on his phone, and it also like makes it a little bit complicated considering you're happy with Ezra now, and like this is his ex-girlfriend, and also she's missing, and she's a subject. Like, it's so layered. I'm leaving the call there. I'm actually not picking up the phone. I'm actually leaving it so that Ezra can see missed call from Nicole, and then we can work this out organically. And now it's all fucked up.
But the way that this is happening, Emily is like practicing bartending at Lucas's loft and like half listening to the conversation, it seems like, because Arya goes, I think I should just delete it. Emily didn't suggest that one time during the phone call. Like, she wasn't like, you should delete it. Arya says that, and Emily goes, yeah, I think that's for the best.
That's for the best. Emily, by the way, is practicing making a pisco sour. She can't get her egg whites to foam correctly. And I want to let you all know, you got to dry shake it. Okay, so you got to do 2 shakes sometimes if you're doing something with an egg white in it. You got to do your first shake and then dry shake once you add the egg in.
So is the yolk where salmonella comes from?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But if the yolk is touching the whites.
Girl, I don't know, and I don't want to think about it. Thank you. So Emily gets an email saying that she got a 92% on the exam that we know she missed.
My heart's
and
in
then
my
she
stomach.
gets a text. I know. She gets a text from AD saying, you're welcome, ungrateful bitch. Oh my God. Who said she was ungrateful? She just found out.
Stealing.
You're welcome, ungrateful bitch.
The way
I've been saying that for years.
No, I just mean like for this to be a text from A is so, like, the phrasing of it. This is so Mona when she was an A. This is not really the A that we've been.
This is an angry A.
AD like loves to talk in riddles and like add emojis.
But it also gets me thinking, who could do that? You know, who is so smart they could just go take an exam they weren't prepared for and get a 92 on it, you know?
Who do you think?
It would have to be somebody extremely smart.
Who's extremely smart? Spencer.
Anyone who's in the Spencer bloodline, I would say.
Or Mona.
Learning a lot of languages. Well, it's not Mona. I know it isn't. So, nice try. Don't even begin that, okay? Don't even start trying to tell me that this could be Mona. Shut up. Okay. Shut up, ungrateful bitch. So Spencer calls Hannah because she's having trouble finding Caleb. And I just want to say Spencer seems weird in this scene.
Well, everything about this is actually weird because we're having a full no headphone FaceTime call at the brew. And
and that's the weirdest part.
And Hannah took it Hannah took the call on her iPad and Spencer's on her vertical phone, so she doesn't take up the whole screen. It's like just the vertical frame, which is weird. And I'm also just like, Spencer, I understand why you're doing this, but like you were so and Hannah immediately, of course, good friend Hannah sees this as a way to get their friendship back to a better place. But Spencer, you were just so mad at Hannah last episode, and now you like want her to have to help you find the boyfriend that you fucked things up with.
Yeah.
I know that Hannah kind of got the ball rolling on this, kind of getting into a tough spot, but these feelings were already going to have to be dealt with regardless.
And Spencer's letting out a lot of her like self-hatred and anger. Like it's like she just wants somebody else to blame because she knows right now she's the only person to blame. So she doesn't, so she's going to like take any chance she gets to take any chance she gets to like hit at Hannah. I can't speak. Sorry. Jenna shows up at the brew, and as Hannah and
no, go ahead.
As Hannah and Spencer are FaceTiming, she just like flips the camera around on the iPad kids here. Okay, we're all Aria was on an iPad earlier too, so like iPads are a big thing. Maybe they're sponsored. I don't know.
It's the era of iPads where people were like, "Wait, you can use this as a computer."
Yeah,
everybody had their
keyboard.
Bluetooth keyboard, and so like everybody, it was all the rage.
And I'm like, it's just not that smaller than a computer, but okay. Anyway, Hannah holds it up and it's like, "Oh my God, look!" And it's Jenna, and Spencer's just like not interested. So that's kind of it.
Well, Spencer asks Hannah to follow her, and Hannah's like, "I'm not doing that." And Spencer says it's not like she has working eyes on the back of her head.
Oh my God.
And Hannah's like,
she has eyes all around her though, and that's like famously.
Hannah's whole point is that they're supposed to be acting normal, and if the police realize that she's like taking time out of her day to go follow someone, that's not normal behavior.
Right.
Spencer's like, "Well, it is for me, so I don't understand what the disconnect is."
Spencer's like, "Okay, then what is normal? Like, then what is normal?" Okay, because I've been trying to figure that out. Aria is at Emily's, and Aria reads her the text. What?
Emily's telling Aria about the text and is basically just like, "Why would AD do me a favor? I don't understand." And then Emily takes matters into her own hands, and I literally think she just did this so she could go to the burner apartment like she said she wanted to at the start of the episode. Because she texts the number that Elliot texted about Allison having not killed Charlotte, and is like, "Things have changed. Can you meet me now?"
Yeah.
Emily.
She's like, "I need to lay low." And the person responds, "Usual spot." And they don't really know what that is, but they're going to go to the address of the other place that they found, his other potential address. But there was a funny line because Aria's like, okay. After Emily reads her the text, she's like, maybe we should be drinking. And Emily's like, we're thinking, not drinking. Okay. And it's like, okay. All right. We're rhyming too. This is unbelievable. This next scene, guys, I mean, I couldn't have planned it better myself.
I know that we have fully constructed this lore between Aria and Sabrina, and I know that the writers were not thinking about it in a way of they hate each other, but like, were it just keeps getting truer. It gets truer and truer and truer as it goes on.
Like getting to the point where I'm like, no, the writers were fully in on this as well. Like they saw an opportunity and they were like, we're just gonna have this little like sub plot line going on while this other story is going on. Sabrina finds Emily and Aria at the car and they're about to go to this address, and she's wearing a hat, just so you all know. And she goes, "Hi, Aria." Yes. And Aria goes, "Oh, hi.
Well, Sabrina goes,
nice to see you again."
Sabrina goes, "Aria, right?" And you know that sent shivers down Aria's
Aria's
spine.
like, "You know who I am, okay? My pre-fiance signs your checks." Yeah.
You might think my last name's Fitz, but it's not. I'm taking Fitzgerald when we get married.
Yeah. I just have always kind of like the proper names. That's why I call him Ezra, not Z. Sabrina's like, "Well, if you're going somewhere," like Aria's in the car now. She's like, "If you're going somewhere, I don't want to keep you." And Emily goes, "No, it's fine. And that's where she leaves it. She just Emily, doesn't tell her. "No, it's fine.
It's so confusing. She keeps going like, "Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, we can keep having this conversation," but also is like, her eyes are anywhere but Sabrina, and Sabrina is left to her own devices to just be like, "Oh."
She's like, "So, okay, then how did the test go?" Emily's like, "Great." And Sabrina's like, okay, I feel really fucking weird, and leaves. And then Emily gets in the car, and Aria goes, sorry, that was really awkward.
Aria makes this face when Emily gets in the car. She like moves her jaw around. She is like,
yeah,
she can't believe what she just watched, and I don't understand it.
It's really awkward. Okay, so you noticed that too? Okay, cool. So Allie is in her room looking everywhere, flipping out, breaking shit. Yeah. And Mary Drake comes in. She's like, okay, just tell me what you want. I'll help you find it. And Mary Drake immediately knows like what Allie has realized is missing.
You know what I'm looking for.
And she's like, oh, he's so greedy. It's like, oh yeah, he literally robbed Allie blind. Okay.
And Mary goes, oh, he double-crossed me. He double-crossed you.
Oh, that's a bummer. I bet you're feeling pretty bummed out right now, Mary Drake. Yeah. She's like, he emptied every single one of my accounts, my stocks in the Karasimi group, like my safety deposit boxes, like
Mary's
everything.
Like, I didn't know your safety deposit box was even on the table. If I had known this much money was on the table, I would have probably been more okay with the torture.
Yeah, I would have stuck it out longer. So Mary Drake is like, listen, I'm going to try to make this right. Tell me what I can do. And Allie's like, fuck you and fuck this room. I'm not sleeping in here. And she leaves. And that's that.
And Mary reaches down to pick up a picture of Elliot and Allie and then just tears up Elliot's face.
Ha!
We go to the Rosewood Police Department and Spencer's here to see Toby to file a missing person report, and he looks at her like, official or unofficial?
Yeah, he's like,
and then Spencer she leans up against the door and she goes,
help me, Toby-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. That was bad, was it?
Okay,
it's like, yeah,
C-3PO.
Literally. So what we find out kind of, okay, fine, I'll say it. I'm stressed all the time, and it's messing with my hormones. Between work, keeping up with the latest pop culture news, and everything else, I just feel so out of balance, and I know I'm not the only one. So I'm going to help you out. Happy Mammoth offers a free 2-minute quiz that can help you figure out what the heck is causing your hormonal symptoms. It couldn't be easier. And after the quiz, you'll get a personalized recommendation to help balance your hormones and start feeling better already. When I took the quiz, it suggested that I might be going through estrogen overload. And I can pretty much blame that for the way I've been feeling. One of the recommendations from the quiz was to take Hormone Harmony, which y'all know we love. And it has literally helped me so much, you guys. I'm less bloated, I'm less tired, and okay, fine, I'm less moody. Since I started taking it, I've noticed such a difference. Taking care of your hormones isn't just about feeling good right now, it's about investing in your long-term health. When you take the hormone quiz, you'll learn more about your hormone balance, and you can make small but intentional changes to support your body. Whether it's with Hormone Harmony or another Happy Mammoth product, the quiz really helps guide you towards solutions that work specifically for you. So, ready to start feeling like yourself again? Head over to happymammoth.com and take their free 2-minute hormone quiz today to find the ultimate answer to your stubborn hormonal issues. And for a limited time, you can also get 15% off your entire first order with my code PrettyLittlePodcast at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use the code PrettyLittlePodcast for 15% off today. Is that Caleb is either staying with Toby or Toby knows exactly where he is, but the deal is Caleb needs some time to think. And Spencer's like, okay, sorry for like pulling you into this. And please, God, do not fucking tell him that I asked you. And she goes to leave at the exact moment that a familiar face walks in. Detective Marco Fury. You haven't heard the name before because, well, we haven't been introduced formally. But we did meet him in the Tristan the freaking elevator.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, didn't we hired sluts here?
Well, his last name's Fury. With a last name like Fury, you have to be a slut.
I don't know what that has to do with that.
You're on fire.
Okay, but Fury is a different... Fury doesn't necessarily mean fire.
It gives fire.
You're like, I mean, just switch 2 letters. You have the word fire.
And it gives like, I mean,
just switch the U and the
people always say I'm on fire with rage. I'm red hot with anger.
Mm-hmm.
All of those words kind of sound the same.
Okay, Phoebe,
Caroline's
stop.
anti-Phoebe riffing this podcast.
Wait, I'm what?
Caroline is anti-Phoebe riffing
No,
off.
I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm struggling. I'm sorry. I'm really trying really hard to not be who I am today, but this is who it is today, okay? And I hate it just as much as you.
So Spencer immediately does slut behavior.
And can I say something? I was just watching The Therapist with Benny and Mary Beth Barone and Jake Shane, obviously. And I was like, oh my God, I'm the Mary Beth Barone, but like I'm more activated. She's like the more like laissez-faire, relaxed version of me. But it was so I just haven't seen it in this way because it felt like she was like dealing with a little sibling kind of.
With Benny?
So no, with Jake.
With Jake.
Like I don't see this with Benny really. But with Mary Beth, at one point, Jake Shane goes, I do not like cane. I do not like canes. I don't like it at all. And they're like, what? We love it, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, yeah, they're, you know, did you have the sandwich with the, what the fuck did he call it? Brioche? It's like got the brioche bun. And he didn't even say brioche. I don't even know what it was. The brioche. No, the brioche or something. And she goes, brioche? The brioche? She goes, oh my God, I can see the comments now. And she's like, oh God. But he's like, oh, is it? He literally didn't know how to say brioche. And she was like, no. Like she couldn't control it, like came out of her. And then she was like, nope, I don't want to harp on this, please. And then like time goes on and Benny goes, so the brioche, is it brioche to Mary Beth? And she goes, it's brioche, but it's fine. I mean, I think it is. And I was like, oh my God.
Wait, so but low-key, that kind of gives Kelly.
Well, I think she gives Kelly vibes, but I just meant in this context, it just kept being like there's a point where she comes over and she like messes with Benny's mic and he goes, she is dying to run this room. And then like Jake was like, I love the syncs and overcompensating, like all the music sync ups. Which and she goes, syncs? That's not what they're called.
Wait, but I do think like, he's right.
Well, did
that's
you see
what
this?
Record labels call them because like sync rights.
Probably not in writer's room, I guess.
SYNC.
Interesting.
Like, that's like a whole department of people pitching music to be used in shows.
Well, did you see this clip?
Which is that's what he was referring to. So they were both right.
But it's so funny. She's like, that's not what they're called. And he's like, what? And then Benny's like, no, I think that is what they're called. And she's like, they're called needle drops. Right? Needle drops is what she said. And then she's like, Adam, what's your favorite needle drop? And she like, that's just so funny. Anyway, sorry.
She is so funny.
The brioche thing is unreal, though.
I can see the comments now.
No, I that's can see so the comments funny. Now.
She is dying to run this room.
She is dying to run this room. It was just so funny. Like, and I was like, together, and just they gave such like older sibling vibes just together with Jake. You know what I mean?
We're like me hanging out with you and Kelly.
I'm sure you saw the like clip that was like, have you seen The Office? And they're like, that's okay. And then the OC, they're like, that's actually not okay. Like, you need to really.
They immediately go into Misha Barton, and Jake's like, she really was like the moment. And Benny goes, even that is like such an understatement.
Oh my God.
I love the part of the show where Haley Marie Matthews, go like the girl like gasps at her phone and Haley goes, is Misha Barton back?
I saw this quote about that character that was like, she is operating on like another level than everybody on set. Like she is taking what is given to her and created worlds with it. Like she has gone so far beyond what the script has equipped her with. It's unbelievable.
The line that pisses me off shouldn't have been as fucking funny. Like that shouldn't be the line that everybody comments on every single post.
Part of that was like her body language, like her. Also, what the fuck is the fuzz on her nails? Like, I mean, everything about this character. It's like the character mixed with everything she brought to it. It's like, and this is why casting matters. And this is why casting matters.
So funny. Anyway, so Spencer is doing the slutty option and is pretending not to know Marco and it is like looking at Marco like, do not fuck this up.
She makes it very clear that Marco, we don't know each other and you're gonna follow along, and if you think you've met me, you haven't. And that's just clear as day to him.
So she leaves and she sees through the window on Toby's computer that they found Dr. Rollins's car. They're looking and talking about that, Marco and Toby. So we go back to the De Laurentiis dungeon and it's Jenna.
And I'm sorry,
Which a taxi cab to the De Laurentiis dungeon? How big is this town?
It waited. And not only, did you think she was going to walk?
Well, I mean,
Jenna, the blind girl.
Why didn't we Uber?
Phoebe did. Phoebe. Why didn't we Uber?
No, I didn't think she was gonna walk, but I am just like there had to be
A
other
taxi
options.
is an Uber. What other? No, actually, give me 3 other options. If you think they are so readily available, give them to me.
Get a ride. I mean, you called Noel. He's spoiler alert. He's coming.
Yeah, he's en route. Okay, he's traveling probably from out of state.
How does she get around everywhere else?
I don't know, but right now she took a taxi, and that's what you're having an issue with. Is crazy.
No, I just feel like in Rosewood, a taxi seems very antiquated.
I don't know. Maybe.
Like, what if I like took a taxi to?
For me, taxis are synonymous with Ubers. Like, it's the same thing.
They are, but just seeing a taxi.
So you saying, why didn't you take an Uber? Well, yeah, but any other normal car, you'd be like, who the fuck drove Jenna here?
Well, Jenna famously
if you saw
always
a personal
has like a
vehicle,
she always has a fucking driver or a handler.
We also, it's like Garrett or someone, or Toby or someone that's like important.
Or that nondescript.
So we
man.
would be wondering. We would be wondering is the point. We think it was another plot point.
Well, I'm wondering
they needed there to be no bones about it.
And
it's
here
a
are my
freaking
bones.
taxi driver.
And here are my bones to give you about it.
Okay.
Anyway,
what are they? I'm waiting for the bones here.
That it doesn't seem realistic that she would take a taxi cab in the city of Rosa, PA.
And to me, it doesn't seem realistic. Like the blind girl is walking.
And I
is walking on it's fully gravel too. It's like a dirt road. I don't see any sidewalks around.
I didn't say she was gonna walk.
Well, you kind of insinuated she should.
No.
Anyway, Jenna knocks on Allie's door, and when there's not an immediate answer, she literally tries the doorknob. Ah! That was bonkers to me. Absolutely,
that's Rosewood coded.
Chilling. That was chilling, if you ask me. And Allie opens the door right as Jenna is turning the doorknob, and I'm so glad because I'm like, that means Allie felt that she was doing that, and I needed Allie to know that she was trying to fully walk in.
I'm just like, okay, Jenna, this is such a funny thing to say as the response to like Allie being obviously surprised that you're knocking on her door. Jenna goes, "Oh, Allie, I thought you were in the hospital."
Allie goes, "So you came to my house?" Oh, yeah, I thought you were gonna do your old trick. You were gonna match my energy when I showed up at the hospital to visit you. You just were telling the whole town you were gonna do it to me. So why'd you come here? And she says, I came here to find out how you're doing. I didn't think there was any harm in asking your husband. And Allie says, well, he doesn't live here. And Jenna goes, did something happen? And Allie says, you tell me. How do you know Rollins? And that is Jenna's cue to leave. She says,
yeah, she
you know what?
gets out of there.
You know what? Coming here was a mistake. No, what did you want, Jenna? I would push you down the steps. If I was Allie, I would have.
I'm shocked Allie
I'm
didn't.
just thinking if I was Allie, in this kind of mood she's in right now, if I was Allie. Not saying I would ever push someone down the steps, especially not a blind person. But Jenna Marshall, if I were Allie in that moment, she would be, at the foot of the steps. Crumpled.
Allie walks down the stairs and she goes, why'd you try to convince him that I killed Charlotte? And Jenna turns around and goes, Allie, you haven't been well. I hate that.
Oh my God. Allie crashes out. Allie goes, next time you call Archer, tell him I said go to hell.
And Jenna says, maybe he's already there.
So Aria and Emily are at the disgusting apartment
Oh
of
my God.
Archer, and they slipped the manager $20 to keep quiet about them being in here. And then Aria goes, Bill, I slipped him a number 2 from Imperial Garden. I hope he likes Mushu. Oh my God.
Because Emily goes, do you think $20 will be enough to keep him quiet? And Aria goes, I mean, maybe not, but I gave him my number, so we should be good.
Maybe not, but I gave him my number and I told him I'll go on one date with you and you're paying. And so we should be good. Anyway, they go in and it's like trashed. It's disgusting in here. And there's one of those beds that's like, I don't know, what does she call it? A Murphy bed or something? It's like one of those.
Ashley
I used to think
had
was
one
so
of these
cool.
in The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody when
Yes.
London goes to stay
Yes.
with. Oh, and that episode is actually so sad because London sees Maddie with her family and is like so jealous, and Maddie can't understand why.
Yeah.
But she has a Murphy bed in that episode.
And there's that great moment where London's like trying to make the bed and the whole bed flips up and she gets stuck on it. I love it. Anyway, so they pull down the bed and a full-on head rolls out and Aria loses her mind. And Emily grabs it. I'm like, Emily, that is so funny.
And
come here,
and also,
you.
This is just so classic because Aria's like, no, don't touch it. And Emily goes, it's not real. and neither of them are thinking about fingerprints. Like neither of them are like, don't touch it because your fingerprints will be on it.
No,
Obviously, it's not real. I think we would have.
Why aren't we wearing gloves? Why aren't we wearing gloves and frankly hairnets? Like Spencer Hastings never would have allowed this.
Why do we have hair down?
I know, it's insane. So it's a mask mold, it appears, the head. And they look up and see that behind the Murphy bed are on the wall, there are just pictures of like every single part of Wilden's head all blown up, like his ear and his chin, his eyes, whatever, because obviously Rollins was trying to make like this perfect exact flesh mask of Wilden and succeeded.
And then that's that for right now. We go to the Radley bar.
This part's bonkers, crazy. I was like, oh, I have the ick. I mean, I'm sorry, Shower Harvey. There's nothing you can do to not give me the ick. It's been determined. I'm fully sealing the case. Like that's it. You're a living, breathing, walking ick to me.
Yes. Shower sitting at the bar. She orders a John Collins Rocks extra sour.
Okay, I'm not trying to be that person, but like, what is a John Collins? Because the drink is called a Tom Collins.
Let me give it a goog.
So like, did she say John?
What's in a Tom Collins?
It's gin, lemon juice, soda water.
A John Collins is a long drink of London dry gin, lemon juice, sugar, carbonated water.
Okay, what's a Tom Collins?
Tom Collins is a Collins cocktail made from gin, lemon juice, sugar, and carbonated water.
Okay, yeah. Okay, also, I nailed that.
Why are they the same thing?
Knew exactly what was in it.
Well,
I know.
This
so
one, it looks like this one comes in a tall glass, and the other one was presented in a shorter glass.
Okay, Collins does come in a tall glass usually.
But then a John Collins is pictured.
A Tom Collins.
It looks like, actually, I mean, in this picture, it looks more like whiskey. It looks like a brown liquor.
And then maybe there's more lemon juice in it because she said extra sour, and a Tom Collins is not sour. It's like more of a refreshing sort of
Consists
drink.
of gin or sometimes whiskey, a highball style drink, garnished with maraschino cherries, which Jenna
the John
knows.
Collins.
No, the John Collins.
Yeah, okay. So
Sarah
Tom
ordered.
Collins usually would not be that. So I guess, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, extra sour.
Jenna walks up and is like, and Sarah is immediately fucking rude. It's so funny.
Oh
She goes, is this seat taken? And without looking up, Sarah goes, bar looks pretty empty to me. Oh my God.
I'm like, what a treat she is. Yeah. And then she looks and sees that it's Jenna, and like she puts out her hand to like help her with the chair. And Jenna touches her hand and starts like just feeling her fingers, feeling the motorcycle glove. And
Oh,
she's
it's
like,
you.
I think we know the same girls.
And
okay.
I think some of the girls you know are some of the girls
that I know.
And
what
Sarah
an
says,
unfortunate thing to have in common.
Well, the unfortunate things make us who we are. And then
so Jenna's gonna buy her a drink, but only if Jenna will have one with Shower. And
are
Shower
you gonna
goes,
skip through the cringy dialogue, or are you gonna go?
No.
For it?
Oh, I'm gonna go for it.
Oh, go for it.
Shower goes, are you a sour girl?
And
Jenna goes,
wait, you nailed the because she closes her eyes when she says sour.
Thank God. I was so ready to be criticized, so thank God. And then Jenna goes, I can be. And then she looks and goes, well, and then Shower's like, she'll have the same. And Jenna goes, 4 cherries, please. Okay, you guys are so annoying.
We
You're acting
go.
like you've never ordered a drink before. No one orders drinks like that.
This is literally giving like the day after your 21st birthday. You're like getting a cocktail with your parents.
Yes. Or you're like, it's cool to drink alone. I'm going to go to the bar alone and like just order a drink. Like, yeah.
You Googled. She actually meant to order a Tom Collins, but she ordered a John Collins.
She asked ChatGPT what would be like the most sophisticated way to order this.
We go. Yeah, because she goes, rocks.
Extra sour. Yeah.
We
extra
go
sour.
we go to the burner apartment, and Emily.
I love that we're calling this the burner apartment.
I know.
I'm like, is that what those things are called? In my mind, they're like, is only like a burner phone, but it's hilarious. I mean, I'm sure that is a real term. It's just funny to think about.
Emily does something that is brave.
Oh my God.
Like,
I was like, I get it. You've worked at 2 different drink places and you've had your hands in soapy water. This ain't that. Haven't you ever heard if you see standing water, you are not supposed to put your hands in it. You're not supposed to touch it. This is considered standing water. It's been in a sink full of shit for days and days and days alone.
At least. We don't know how long. We know
Exactly.
certainly since you guys killed him, but we don't know the last time that he was here.
But I know there is a flesh-eating bacteria that's living there that's now all over you, Em. Great, that's your next storyline. You just got a girlfriend.
Oh, perfect.
Sabrina is not going to understand this.
She reaches down, though, and she does find a bag filled with, like, a passport and plane tickets and all this stuff. And she goes, Elliot was not really a slob. This was, like, all a cover-up. And then we go to the brew, and Hannah's filling Spencer in on what Emily and Arya found and the info we have on Jenna. And they're just talking about that. And then Spencer's kind of, like, doing that thing that I was talking about last episode where she's, like, not saying that anything's wrong, but she, like, has an attitude about
and she's doing the thing that I'm talking about in this episode where she's taking out her, like, anger at herself and at Caleb on Hannah because she's just crashing out. And Hannah's like, look, I don't want to be the one who messes up for either of you. Like, how can I fix this? And Spencer Hastings, what do you mean? You responded with, why don't you start by figuring out why you're wearing one guy's ring when you might have feelings for another?
We've been
Gone over this.
Spencer. She
oh my
doesn't
God.
have feelings. Well, she
Hannah's like,
but she's
okay.
told you.
But if
like,
you're telling Hannah the only thing that's going to make you feel better from her is if she can convince you she doesn't like Caleb, like, I don't know what you want her to do.
She's
There's
already
nothing
done
more
all she
clear than
can.
her wearing a ring. You don't know it's fake. Like,
Exactly.
her wearing another man's ring should be all the comfort you need, Spencer.
Exactly. All this to say, Spencer did not find Caleb at the ranger station.
No.
We go back to the apartment, and we are getting into the weeds of his exit strategy, and we realize that this is like for him and for someone else. He has enough stuff for like 2 people to get out of town. And Arya finds a ledger of cash payments, and we see that he's been making cash payments to Mary Drake and JM, or we see MD and JM and presume that it's Mary Drake and Jenna Marshall. Don't worry, Arya's been digging through the library as well.
Yes.
You can tell a lot about someone from their books, Arya says.
Yes, so we pull out a copy of Shakespeare's Twelfth Night, and the name inside is Archer Dunhill. So we officially have his full name, and what are those initials? A.D.
Yeah. Then we hear a cop knock.
Oh
a
my God.
Cop knock.
A unmistakable cop knock.
And we open the door, and it's just my USPS mail lady.
And we're like, oh my God, you have got to stop doing this. No, we open the little eye latch, and it's and it's Toby Kavanaugh, Officer Toby Kavanaugh, and they are going to be investigating this apartment. And he's like, "What the fuck are you doing here?"
he's so
like,
annoyed.
"Oh my God, are you for?" He's so pissed. He's like, "Look, we found his car. We found out he paid 6 months advance on this place. Like, he was on the run. What if he was here? You guys don't know if he was here. Like, you need to get out of here. Did you touch anything?" And Arya's like, okay, fine. And she moves and shows like what they found. He's like, get the fuck out. And so
they also, like, for people that have been lying I know they're a little out of practice right now, but you guys should have been back in the swing of things, because Toby goes, how did you find out about this place? And they're like, Allie found a slip of paper with the address on it. And he's like, well, do you have the slip of paper? And Emily looks at Arya, and they're like, no, we don't.
No, Allie ate it. Allie actually ate it.
So we go back to the De Laurentiis dungeon, and it's nighttime. Mary Drake is coming into the house humming, and Allie's like, I didn't hear you leave. You didn't check out with me before you left.
Yeah.
And Mary's like, I just needed to go for a walk. There's a particular shade of blue in the sky right now.
It's like, oh, give me a break.
We gotta get you in a room with Ezra and Arya. They'll love you. They'll eat you right up.
She's also, did you mention that she's humming?
Yes.
Okay. She's humming a song, and Allie's like, oh, my mom used to sing that to me. And it's, what is it called?
Like Old Sparrow?
Little Sparrow or something. Then Allie gets a call from the police and ignores it. I'm not ignoring any calls from the police if I'm you.
No, for sure not. And in the song, though, Mary says is about men and lies. And Allie goes, I guess I wasn't listening.
Guess not, Al. Hey, guess not. We get this voicemail from Marco, and he's like, you need to come meet me here. That's Fury. That's Detective Fury. So Allie goes to the station. Right.
We have Detective
Slut.
Wilden and a British
Detective
accent.
Floozy. Fury, try Floozy.
There we go.
Is
Detective
that
Walden.
Detective Floozy?
Lieutenant Butterscotch.
Detective
Floozy.
Walden. Nothing different there. Lieutenant Butterscotch, Hottie Holbrook, and now Detective Floozy. Great, Detective Floozy. So Detective Floozy tells Allie that he believes that Allie was targeted for her money.
You know, Allie's been waiting for the first opportunity. Like she thought she was gonna have to wait till like her first day back in class to do this because he goes, Miss Rollins, please come in, and she goes, De Laurentiis, please.
I also realized that she says De Laurentiis, and I always say De Laurentiis, but I'm like, I guess I should be saying De Laurentiis.
Well, sorry, Allie, we've been saying the last name a lot longer than you've been around, so.
Okay, and there you have it. So Marco then discusses like exactly what the girls kind of planned out for Elliot as like, okay, it looks like he got on this train and then he got off the train. So like all these things are what the girls planned out, except that this story then continues, and he was last seen in Baltimore, and a credit card under his assumed name was used, and
for a rental
traffic cam footage of him in a rental car. So obviously Allie's freaking out, and this is when we get our second like dissociative moment for Allie, where she's like in and out of reality. Like you basically hear her heart thumping, and everything's blurry.
He says, we've got people as far as Denver looking for this man, which is like the last thing anybody who committed a murder wants to hear. You got
people in Denver. Oh my God, we're cooked. Okay, we're cooked. If I committed a murder and you're looking for me in Denver, I'm cooked. It's the last thing I want to hear.
we go to the brew, and Emily's ordering. And while she waits for her coffees, she goes up to Sabrina.
What did Emily order? Because I think when I heard her order,
4 cappuccinos.
She ordered 2 red eyes and a rose latte with soy. I thought she was ordering the rose latte for Sabrina. While Phoebe keeps talking, I'm gonna talk a little bit more so she can just mute me. Okay, great. All right, so Emily is ordering all her coffees, and we see Sabrina there, of course. And so Emily approaches her, and Sabrina's fully convinced that Emily is going to break up with her in this moment. And she's like, look, I'm just gonna like save you the trouble. Okay, I get it. And May's like, what are you talking about? I'm actually coming over here to ask you on another date. Freaking loved our first one. So then she turns, and like, obviously Sabrina's thrilled about this. Things are good. But it does debunk the theory that rose soy latte was for Sabrina. So no clue about that. But then Emily sees Shower and Jenna as she's getting all her coffees, and they have like a ton of shopping bags. And I am so curious, do these two besties just go on a shopping spree through Rosewood? Oh my God. And Shower somehow knows about the Hollis classes that Emily is taking, and says that Toby mentioned them. And it's like, how the fuck are you talking to Toby? It just is all very confusing. And Emily is obviously quite shaken up by this interaction. Hannah has been in this episode like 0, and I freaking hate that. But now we are back at the loft, and Allie is finally telling Hannah that Rollins stole literally every dime she had to her name. And the girls are freaking out because we all know that this trail that they've created for Elliot was supposed to end in Philly with him like getting off the train. But for some reason, he's in Baltimore, so that's obviously concerning. And Hannah's like, they know what I did. Aria looks at her. They know what we all did. Aria is literally like, how dare you not implicate me in this? I've worked very hard to be involved. So anyway, Allie's like, okay, when Hannah freaks out, I can't even think. Okay, what's with the Hannah slander? I'm having an issue with it. It's pissing me off, actually. Thank you for asking. It's pissing me off. Phoebe's still on the phone, so she's not hearing this, but I know this pissed her off too. Let's do a temp check right now. I went through all of the Brew, Sabrina, Jenna Shower stuff, and now I'm at the loft with the girls freaking out about how the trail was supposed to end in Philly. And I did go through Hannah saying, they know what I did. And Aria looks at her like, excuse me? Well, first Aria's like, well, you mean what we all did? You mean we all don't exclude me again? Like she is like, how dare you? And then Allie goes, okay, when she freaks out, I literally can't with her. Like I cannot.
And this is almost a scene from Girls. This is almost a scene from Girls.
Loki, she's like this, I literally can't with her.
Loki, Hannah's Hannah.
Yes.
Because Hannah would overreact, and then Marnie would be like, I literally cannot deal with her when she's like this.
No, I know. But I'm also like, is she overreacting? I don't know.
No. She's the one who had her foot on in Spencer's words, she was the one who forgot which foot was her right and her left.
Right. So true. So true. So they're all trying to figure out, like, is this Mary Drake? Is this Jenna? Is this Shower Harvey? Like, who is Elliot texting? And Allie says, okay, fine, I screwed up. Okay, I definitely told Jenna something that tipped her off because, like, I obviously explained to her that Elliot's not here anymore and X, Y, and Z is going on. Ezra at this point texts Arya, and my thought, because he's like, I need to talk to you, you need to get here now. And my immediate thought is he knows she deleted the message or the call from Nicole, and he's furious, which I think makes sense.
I think that's where Arya's coming from when she's even though it still is so funny and so Arya in a second, but I do understand that, like, Arya is preemptively like, I'm gonna be in trouble with Ezra, so like it makes sense that she's like, no, I have to go. But Ezra like keeps first Ezra calls and her ringer's on, and she goes, fine, I'll put it on vibrate, and then she puts her phone that's on vibrate now face down on a hard wooden table, so if it vibrates, everybody's gonna hear it.
One thing I want to say, Ezra, if you're planning something like I know you're planning, I'm just like gonna make sure Arya's free. I'm gonna make sure she's like in the vicinity. She's able to come over. I'm communicating with her a little bit day of. And I'm certainly not gonna light 500 candles without knowing she can be here in the next 10 minutes.
I've never even thought about this, but it's like, Ezra, you already have so many ticks against you because you were her teacher when you met. And you knew who she was, whatever. All the stuff that we've already talked about. But also, it's giving creepy teacher marrying a student. The fact that you didn't even talk to the fact that you didn't talk to your former students who were her friends. Yeah. Like, it's giving, like...
It's just between me and Z. That's what Arya would say.
So gross. So Arya stands up and she goes, I gotta go. And Allie's like, for real?
Allie's like, wait, we're like busy. And Arya's like, yeah, I'm for real. Bye. Don't follow me. We get this, like, it sounds like Lucy Hale. Whoever is singing the little sparrow song, because whatever Mary Drake was humming is now being sung and funneled through as a montage plays. And it sounds like Lucy Hale. I meant to look up who it is, but I didn't.
I don't like it.
No, it just sounds the whole time. It took me out of it so much because the whole time I was like, this is like Arya, and our next scene pan is gonna be Arya sitting playing the guitar and like singing this, and I don't want to see it.
If anybody were to have a recording of themselves singing as they get proposed to,
it would be Arya Montgomery. It would be Arya Marie Montgomery.
Arya Marie Montgomery and Marnie Michaels.
Amen.
So the first part of our montage is we see that Spencer will not sleep in her bed since Caleb's gone. She like looks at the bed for a long time and then walks to the couch. Then we see Emily comforting Hannah, who's so distressed at the fact that someone else might know what she did. Then we see that Allie is back sleeping in her tortured poet's room. And then she looks in her little armoire and she finds a single thing hanging in there, and it's a piece of dry cleaning. And it's the jacket she wore the night that Cece was killed, with a note on the back of the receipt that says, your friends gave me your dirty jacket, but I couldn't find a shred of evidence. I have a question.
Which, like, oh my God, if I'm Allie, I'm like, oh, so my friends handed me right over.
This is what I wanted to... I was like, because for some reason,
I
feel like one of them sort of mentioned, not to the full extent that they were like ready to turn her over, but like kind of mentioned that this was how they got, or that's how Elliot got the idea.
I think they said something about how they had to give up one of them. Like, I think that was said or something.
I just don't think it's been as clearly laid out as like your friends fully were like, yeah, it was Allie.
Yes, like, oh my God, so crazy.
Then we get quite the scene.
Oh wow! So Arya goes to the brew. Ezra. I'm like, I thought the brew was open all hours of the night. It has been up until now. Also, I'm sorry, Ezra, a little note for the next time you propose to somebody, because that's what's happening. If it's someone who's like entire friend group has been tortured historically, don't make her do this, because I kept being like, get out now, girl. Turn around, get out of here. I wouldn't have made it up those steps.
Well, it's like, Arya's so used to not being heard because she's as small as a field mouse. So she's like, she gets up to the top of the stairs and she's like, oh, my throat kind of hurts from having to.
From all my
I always have to like project a little bit more than the average person.
And it's fine. Like obviously, I'm trained. I'm a trained actor. So, but still, and back in the day in the Globe Theater, I mean, there were no microphones. They would use masks actually to help kind of like funnel your voice, but I don't have one here. So. Yeah, sorry. Ever since I found the copy of I didn't tell anybody. I did snag that copy of 12th Night from Elliot's burner apartment because I haven't read it in a while and I just miss it. I miss the bard's comforting voice. Anyway,
and so she gets up there and it's a bunch of candles everywhere and I'm like, oh my god, because I honestly forgot this is what was happening. Of course, I was floored. I had no idea this was gonna happen. I thought that it was gonna be something to do with Nicole or like a trap from Eddie. I really didn't know what was happening. But no, it's Ezra and he's dressed up and I'm just like, okay, you put this much effort into planning on it for a night when
and you didn't make sure she was free.
You were gonna be able to get her. So you're like texting her like you need to get here. Like sorry, if I have to text the person I'm gonna propose to
be like, where are you? Then like
angry, but like in an assertive way to be like, you need to get here now. I'm like, that's not the tone I want to be in before.
No, I don't want to be like, okay, the wax is dripping and I'm overheating in here. Okay, I'm schwitzing. I'm schwitzing. I'm in a suit and there are lit flames everywhere. I closed down early for this.
And I told the fire department to wait outside and they can only wait for so many. They can only skip so many calls.
Apparently, Rosewood PD is really busy right now. They need all hands on deck. I don't know. Anyway,
Get
so
here.
He asks Aria Marie Montgomery to marry him, and
have we wait, did he say Aria Marie?
Yeah, he did.
I was like, wait, did we just make up that that's
no?
But I think we have said that her middle name's Marie before.
I think we have, or something
a little
has.
More artsy. We've made it like season,
yeah, or journal. Anyway, so we get somewhat of an A scene. We see it's not an A scene, but like it feels like it
because
like
first.
We get Shower and Jenna drinking at the Radley, their new watering hole, and holy freaking moly, Noel Khan shows up. Okay, Noel Khan shows up. Holy moly, he goes, babes and booze. It's like you were expecting me. Ew. Not my idea of babes. I'll say that. What trouble do you think you're really getting in with these girlies? That's physical and sexual.
They're gonna have a threesome.
I'm interested to hear about it. I'm definitely like not in like a slutty way, but like I do want to know how it goes. Keep me in the loop on that one. Okay, read us a synopsis for season 7, episode 6. This better be a slutty episode.
Caroline is horned up for Pretty Little Liars right now.
Horned up right now. Sorry guys, I'm H-word. Oh my god.
Season 7, episode 6, Wanted, Dead or Alive. The Rosewood PD begins to unravel. I knew it was coming.
On a steel horse I ride. I'm wanted, dead or alive.
The Rosewood PD begins to unravel the liars' cover-up, which leads them to question Rollins' death altogether. Hannah deals with an inward battle on whether or not to tell the cops the truth. Hannah, I love you so much. This is
Tell them!
Oh.
I don't know.
The jury's out.
Jury's out. I don't know. Oh, wait, that's it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, you guys. That is it. Happy Tuesday. Hope you enjoyed the little switcheroo we're having. And that is because we want to give you the hard-hitting journalism. All our thoughts on the AMAs. Is Mother going to release a big announcement? She fucking better. That's all I know. If she doesn't, I'm actually going to be like kind of annoyed with her. Okay, guys, go listen on Thursday to our AMAs recap. We're going to talk all about it. Obviously, we're speaking from the past. We don't know yet. We don't know what's to come, but I bet it's great. And then this weekend, we are doing the Smash pilot recap. I can't freaking wait.
We are so Benito Skinner and Mary Beth coded in that way of like, I feel like there's so much culture between the two of them that like maybe like the OC I feel like was like this for a while because Mary Beth loves it and it took Benito to come around on it. I feel like.
Yeah.
But just through osmosis, it was such an embedded part of like who they are as like people.
That's how Smash is for you. Because guys, I didn't realize Phoebe like
we talk about it once a week.
Watched it and like it's gonna change your life. And literally when Sadie was like, "Can we do a duet?" I was like, "Let me be your star, done." That's life duet done. Like, I don't know. Yeah, starting from Smash for sure. Yes. So anyway, I can't wait for that. I can't freaking wait. And it's right before the Tonys. So it's kind of perfect timing because Smash is nominated and so is Megan Hilty. So exciting.
What a beautiful
What a world.
day.
What a world. And just so you know, we found out it has been done before that 2 leading actresses have tied in the win for a Tony. And so people are really hoping for
Megan
Jennifer
and Audra.
Simard and Megan. No, they're hoping for the 2 leads of Death Becomes Her.
Oh, well, that would be very sweet.
But it would also be great if it was Audra, but not if you ask Patti LuPone. And we'll talk about it on Thursday. All right, guys. Love you so much. Thank you for listening. We will see you next week. And splat. Whoa. That just felt out of nowhere this time, but loved it.